Hello, I'm Rick Stivers of YoungMartin'sReels. Today's project is going to be this Zebco 802. And this is another one of Ken's reels that he brought me. And we're going to see if we can get this thing back up and running well. It actually runs okay right now. It's just a little rough. It's seen better days. So we're going to take the handle off. We're going to take the cover off. And we're going to see if we can get this thing to unspin. If we can't, we're going to slip the handle back on. Like so. Try to hold the handle while we turn the spinner cap and take that off. And it's a little dirty inside. We'll clean that up. All right. Now we'll take that handle back off, get it out of the way. And we're going to pop off this E-clip right here. There we go. And that should, well, let's go ahead and try loosening the drag. Like so. And now, yeah, that allowed me to slip the spool off. Okay. With that done, now we're going to take this nut loose. And let's see if I happen to have a wrench here available that fits it. There we go. My pen wrench just did fit it. So we're going to see if we can take this nut off. There we go. Got that nut off. Now we'll take the star washer off, which doesn't screw on like most star washers. This one just slides onto the collar. All right, and this all slide out. There we go. All right, that brings us down to this part here. Let's go ahead and take this one apart. At least we're going to take the brake assembly off of it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to push down gently on this brake arm. And while I do that, I'm going to push down here on this sleeve or holding washer right here. And then pull this over. And that should allow that to go in. There we go. Now these guys right here, I'm going to show it to you. These are very hard to come by. Okay, so you do not want to lose that. There's one on each side, on each of the brake springs. One on each side. There's one off. Let's go ahead and take the one off the other side. We're going to pull it down. Slide that off. There's our other one. I'll set that off to the side along with the spring. Now we can take the brake assembly out. Okay, we got that out. Okay, there's not much left here to be taken apart. If you deem that it's necessary, and in this case this has been here so long that I don't think I'm going to go ahead and deem that it is necessary, we're going to push down on this spring, or at least we're going to try to. Like so. And hopefully it's going to allow, let's turn this. Where's our handle? There's our handle. Okay, what we want to do is we're going to try to bring this flat spot over here. There's a flat spot on here. We're going to try to bring that even with the gear on this side. Like that. Okay, once we've done that, I'm hoping we can push this down. As usual, you will just push down, but this one doesn't appear to want to go. Now, I don't know if that's due to it being corroded. There we go. That's starting to move. Okay, I was pushing on the C-clip as well as the collar, and that was keeping it from going down. We need to get just the collar to go down so we can get hold of that little clip. Well, this one doesn't want to pop off that way. So let's do it the old-fashioned way with a screwdriver. Don't lose that little E-clip. There it is. I'm going to clean it up and we'll put it back on looking a lot better than it does right now. We'll take the spring assembly. Now look, this collar right here goes on. That fits down into there. There should be another collar down here. on this shaft. Okay, that one goes on the bottom side of this spring, so you got one collar at the top and one at the bottom. This shorter collar goes at the bottom. All right, now this assembly right here is your anti-reverse assembly, and some of these have a washer on them. This one here does not have a washer. Yeah, it does. There it is. You can't hardly see it. Do you see that little clear washer? Okay, that's going to be going back on there. And that goes in between the pinion gear and that bottom collar assembly. Okay, with that done, this shaft will now pull out the front like that, and now your pinion gear will come out the back. If you have a great need to take this assembly apart, okay, I don't see what your need is, but maybe you do. If you need that, you're going to have to take this spring out, and that will allow this piece to come out. Actually, you don't have to have the spring off. Let's do it that way. Let's go ahead and take the spring off. It doesn't like to come back off of there. I think they bend that in place. So let's just take this end of the spring off here, like so, and leave that piece in like that. Okay, with that done, we should be able to move this over out of the way and slide this assembly out. That now will allow, hopefully, this tube to slide off of your gear shaft, crankshaft, and there you have it disassembled. I am not going to tell you to take this out. There's no need to. I've never seen a need to. If you did need, if you absolutely, let's say you took it apart already, what you can do is take right there and use a very, very small pair of snap ring pliers. Undo that snap ring. With that done, this part here will slide out of there, and then you can unscrew it out. The rest of this is all riveted in place. Okay, there's no need to take the rest of this apart at all. Now, when you go to put this back, I'm going to show you in a minute, but notice that there's a wide gap and a thin gap. Okay, see the thin gap over here? Well, that's not doing you any good. You want this wide, then there's another thin gap. Here's the wide gap. This is the one you're going to want to go, and that shaft right there is going to be putting right back through there. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get this all cleaned up and get it ready to go back together. Okay, all the parts are nice and clean now, ready to go back together. And let's see what we can make happen here. The first thing we're going to do is put this crankshaft assembly back together. Let's see how this works here. This is our drag mechanism. This is our crankshaft, so it's going to ride inside there. So in there, where the drag wheel rides, that is going to be greased, because that's not something that turns very often. So we're going to go ahead and grease that. Then we are going to oil the crankshaft assembly and slide that into the drag assembly, like so. Then both of those are going to slide in like so, and then we're going to mesh this gear with that gear so that they all fit together. Now we're going to need to put our drag lever back in. Okay, that's the one that fits on this side. Now, the best thing to do on this is line it up the way it's going to fit. Okay, it's going to fit like this, so therefore we want to align the spring with the lever, bring the lever over and bring it up. Now when it goes in, like I told you before, we've got to line all three of these plates up right here and make them so that that shaft will go through the large gap, like so. Okay, here's 2. And that thin one ain't gonna work. You gotta bring it around to the thick one. There we go. Here's the last one. And that goes in there. Okay, that's got them all lined up. Okay, and as this lever turns right here, that's going to turn this gear, it's going to put tension on the spring. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and loosen that as far as it will go, like so. And then we're going to put a little grease on the teeth and a little more on those teeth, like so, because they've got to rotate, like so. Okay, then you're going to come back and we are going to put grease on the teeth of the main gear. And we don't need tons of grease, just enough to coat the teeth. Next is going to be our axle shaft. It's going to slide up through the center, and for it, because it's going to rotate, instead of sliding up and down like one does on a crosswind gear, instead this one is going to rotate, so it needs to be in there and oiled. So I will not grease that one. Okay. Next is going to go our pinion gear. We've got to get it to slide on. It's got a flat spot in the center. I don't know if you can see that or not. Okay, see the flat spot? Well, that flat spot has to line up with the flat spot on the axle shaft. Slide that down. Now, you're going to have to get this anti-reverse assembly over out of the way. There we go. And now we'll just hold that there. All right, now I told you to watch out for these clear washers. There's actually 2 of them. Okay. One is going to go on the shaft now, right on top of the pinion gear. Which, when you got great big fingers like mine, can be a little difficult. Slide it down on there. Okay, next is going to come your anti-reverse pawl. It's going to slide down. Go ahead and fit that point of that into that slot right there. Now comes your last clear washer. It fits on top, like so. Then your small collar is going to go on. The flat side is going to go up against the gear, so it slides on easy. All right, all that is now reassembled. Your anti-reverse pawl is inside that slot right there, so that when this turns, let's put a handle on it. Let's slip the handle on here for a second. See how that works? Okay, I'm still not liking the way this feels, but it might be because this isn't down all the way. We'll find out here shortly. Let me go ahead and screw this on for a second. See if that's the cause of the binding. Now let's see if we still have binding. Okay, well, that's better, but it's not great. Let's go ahead and put a little more grease on the pinion gear. I think this might just have a little more wear. It doesn't have a chipped tooth, and the teeth are good, but they're not great. It's got this reel has a lot of wear on it. I think it's really stand for a new set of gears. All right, and I'm wondering, take it back apart, folks. I didn't see that one washer come out, the one clear, and I'm wondering if maybe, just maybe, it should be under the pinion gear. Could be that the pinion gear itself is riding too solid against the frame. So let's rotate this around. Let's take this out like so. Take this sleeve out. Okay. That one is still on there. Let's lift this one out. This washer out. Okay. There's really no room under that pinion gear for it to fit. So let's try it again. Let's put the axle shaft back in. Okay, with it all the way in now. All right, let's try that. Let's try putting a clear washer under the pinion gear. Then put the pinion gear like so. Then put the next one on, next clear washer. Slide that down. Then put our anti-reverse pawl back on. Like so. Making sure that that pawl is in there. Then put our short sleeve on. And our spring and our long sleeve. Like so. Set that down. Compress the spring like so, and then let's put our E-clip back in. Okay, now let's see if it feels any better. Perfect. Okay, so that washer needed to go under the gear instead of the two on each side of that. That's perfect. Okay. I didn't see it come out, and I misremembered where it went. So it's I will show you guys all my mistakes when I make them. And that E-clip is not all the way in. Now it is, I think. There. Now it's all the way in. Okay, that's in, all that's together. All right, what have we got now? Now it's time to put the brake assembly in, and I have a bad habit of putting the spool on before I put on the brake pad. This time, I'm not going to make that mistake. So slide it in. Okay, set it down. Now at this point, we can go ahead just temporarily and screw this on so it's got something to sit against while we put this in, like so. Okay, now it's our spring and our spring and our little cup, and the hollow, the unshielded part goes to the inside, and the part that has the rail goes to the outside. And people lose these a lot, and you cannot get them, so do not lose them. Okay, I'm going to slide this in now. Like that. Make sure that that rail comes up and locks over the outside edge of it like that. Let's do the other side now. Okay, set it in place. And slide the rail down. Hang on, I'm about to pop it off of there and then lose my little sleeve. Okay, slide it in, pop it out. Make sure that rail comes up around the outside. That's what locks it and holds it in place. There we go. Okay. Looks very nice. Let's put a little grease here because this is going to be sliding in and out. We're going to add a little bit more grease to the pinion gear. Like that. Okay. Now, I think we are ready to unscrew the spinner cap back off. Like so. We're going to set our spool back in place. Like so. And then install our E-clip. This doesn't look like it's all down all the way. There it goes. Okay. Snap it in place. All right. Now, let's spin our rotor back on, like so. Make sure it's snug. And we're going to take and slide this back on. And before we do that, in case you want to see it, this is how your anti-reverse works. If you rotate your handle now, you can see your anti-reverse. Okay, there's. And then when you back it up, see how that pawl pulls it in? Like so. Okay, now if you want to disengage the anti-reverse, you flip this lever down, like so. That keeps that pawl over there out of the way. And now you have no anti-reverse. Okay. All right. Let's put this back in. Like so. All right. We'll go ahead and let's see if we can put this all back together now. I'll put this rubber O-ring on, and we're going to put our drag star back on. And we're going to put the nut back on. Okay. Now, let's see if we can get hold of the line. There we go. This line is old and decrepit. So it'll allow us to test the drag, but then we'll take it off. All right, put that on, push the button. The line should come out, and it does. All right, we're gonna put our handle back on now. And we will tighten down the nut. There it goes. All right. Let's check our drag. Yep, got our anti-reverse disengaged. Let's put it back on. Okay, drag is tight. Let's loosen it up a little bit. Still tight. Loosen up some more. I got something in there wrong because we don't have any drag. Or we have nothing but drag. Unless it goes worse the other way. It does. It works the opposite way. Oh, there we go. Well, we're going to take a look at the drag. Okay. Pop this back out. Okay, the spring is activated. Okay. We turn counterclockwise. We're loosening it up, so that should loosen the drag. Okay, let's pull the spinner cap back off. And let's take a look at it. Let's turn it. Oh, is the line just caught inside itself? Drag's turning. Okay, let's do this. Let's pop it off. And one thing I did not do was to lubricate around here where the drag rides so that it could slide easy. Okay, so let's try it again. Get all the line out of the way. Put it back on. Oh, that spins much easier now. Okay. Let's put the clip back in. Okay, let's put the spinner head back on. Okay. And slip it in. Pull out the line. Like so. Get the cap on square. Like that. Ooh, now we have a drag that's functional. Tighten it down. It's still functional. A little more. Even tighter. Okay. Loosen it back up. Perfect. Okay. Now I'm happy. There we have a Zebco 802. Which this is the first time I've ever touched an 802. Well, except when I got it from him a couple weeks ago before I went on vacation. I didn't touch it then, I just brought it home. And it's a nice little reel. It works. I don't really see a whole lot of difference between the 800 and the 802. It may be a difference of gearing. Maybe it's a difference in size. I'm not sure. Tommy Modestet would probably be able to tell me exactly what the difference is. Either him or Jim Jones, one of those two. Can probably tell us. If one of you guys want to pipe in on that, tell us what the difference between the 802 and the 800 is. I would appreciate it. And so would some other viewers. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you didn't, that's okay. Hit the dislike button. Tell me what you didn't like about it. And if you haven't subscribed and would like to subscribe, please hit the subscribe button. And doesn't look, it's tight, but it doesn't look like it. Okay. And for now, that's Rick Stivers of the Young Martin's Reels, signing out.